What's up, Ethanol? I'll be right with you. Thanks for coming. Hello, Cyber Scorpio and John Bear as well. Thanks for coming. All right, let's lower the holding screen. It's been a while. It's been, I think, 21 days since the last stream, I believe. Oh dear, my mouse is, the battery's about to die. Just rearranging my windows a bit here. Hope everyone's doing well. Let me know how the audio and music sounds, as always. Yeah, it has been a while. We'll start off this stream by some exciting mouse battery changing. Thrilling, I know. Hello, Lauren. Let's make sure this is working. Okay. Hope you're all doing well. Just getting myself situated here. Sorry I bumped the camera a little bit. As I'm sure many of you saw, today we're working on the remaining two brute drones for my Conquest Last Argument of Kings minis. And these have had basically the like airbrushing and dry brushing done to them. So we're gonna be doing base coating and washing. And well, we'll see how far we get. I might like, it's been a while since I painted these. I might be able to just blaze through it all and like basically paint up to the point where it's like the final metallic touches. We'll see. Still vertical with a pulse, that's good. Yeah, I'm still a little congested, but I'm basically over the cold. What's up, Caleb? You finished your Transient Gundam custom, Ethanol. Very nice. Time to order more Gundams. I feel like I should go get the one completed brute, so I will be right back. Just gonna grab that so y'all can see what it looks like finished. Okay, sorry about that. I should have just had that from the very beginning. I think since I did the video for this, like, you know, way back in spring 2021, I added a little bit of extra dry brushing detail to the metallic weapons just because they was looking a little uneven. But this is what it looks like when they're done, so get a little comparison there. And the difference between these two steps, or like there's not as many steps as you would think between those. And then of course the base just gets some grass added to it. And I'm finishing these up because I want the like 2 units I painted in my Conquest video that I did last year to at least be finished by the time my next video, or I'm finishing them for the video I'm working on now. You know, just because I need at least those 2 units done, because I'm going to be talking about Conquest a bit in the video, among other games. You did a kit bash of your Barbados Lupus Rex. Nice. You were gonna buy the real grade God Gundam and the real grade Hainu, but I ain't got the space. Cats knocking them over? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the real grade Hainu is definitely prone to being knocked over by cats. Blue Parappa has the real grade God Gundam, but she hasn't built it yet, so... That one I feel like would be less vulnerable from cats, but, you know, any Gunpla is pretty vulnerable to cats. Hello, Eli Gonzalez. These are brute drones from the game Conquest, The Last Argument of Kings. Did a video about that game in spring 2021. It's a pretty cool game. Wish I had more time to play it. And yeah, despite my loss of subscribers, or some people may think, I suppose anyone watching this stream probably isn't one of the people that unsubscribed from me uploading a bunch of shorts, but I am working on a video, like an actual video. All I'm doing with the shorts, those are just Instagram reels that I've been waiting to upload as shorts because YouTube was taking their sweet time doing the update. I don't know how many of you saw that community post I made. But now I don't have to unlist these live streams after they're done anymore because there's a separate tab for them. Good old Tyranids, nice. The mic is in the shot bit. Just leave the camera there. And I guess I should do the can crack as is appropriate. I gotta close the wet palette so I don't get conk on it. You're gonna buy the high grade Schwarzritzer. I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, kit badge with Barbatos. Custom the Beowulf, that sounds cool. Alright, can crack, here we go. Oh, I feel like that one was extra crispy. Okay. Yeah, cabinets are a for sure way to protect from cats and, you know, dust. Blue Parappa and I had to buy a second shelving unit recently. We got one of those classic IKEA Detolfs. It's kind of a pain to put together. But yeah, sometimes you don't always have the space and money for those. The Beowulf Calamity, that sounds pretty cool. So, what we're doing first is good thing I went and got the painted one. So what we do first is the green flesh, since that's like sitting underneath the red cloth wrappings. It makes sense to paint that first. So we're grabbing our big brush and our Crix Bane base. This is one of those, well, I feel this way about most of like the Privateer Press P3 paints. They just are really good, nice paints to use, and this Crix Bane base especially. It's just like a really solid, I don't know what you'd call this, a like desaturated green. I've said before that I don't like these paint bottles, but I really like the paints. You know, like if Privateer Press ever goes bankrupt or whatever, I hope they don't. But like, I've collected so many of their miniatures, I'll have those, but you know, the paints, those will dry up eventually. I'll be sad if they go out of business because you know, won't be able to get the paints. And you know, this is not as big and intense a project as the Sasabi, so we're using the smaller wet palette from Frontier Wargaming. And I will say the paper for this wet palette is a little more finicky. But you know, I haven't used it as much. Maybe it just needs a bit of time to get a little moistened. Lightning effects parts. Yeah, I never bought those before. I'm not sure where you get those. For plastic tier shelving thing for Walmart. Yeah, whatever works. I definitely have some Walmart shelving. Burp one. Supabo, a weird color, brown green. Yeah, brown green, a desaturated brown green perhaps, a swampy green. Yeah, I've definitely used, or with my Scorn army, I have a list with 30 immortals, which are like the rock warrior dudes, so sprayed lots of P3 coal black through the airbrush with that. And oh my god, P3 coal black, you've probably seen that color show up multiple times on the channel, because that's probably could possibly be my favorite P3 paint. It's like a really dark turquoise. Love that paint. Yeah, this, I don't know if any of you listen to the Line of Sight Gaming podcast, but I was listening to one of their episodes the other day where they're talking about Conquest minis and saying how the quality of the minis has like improved drastically over a short period of time. I was just thinking about that as I was like, it's kind of hard to tell, or like the sculpt, the cloth wrappings blend into the like flesh a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell where it starts and ends. But I built some of the video I'm working on now, I built some of their newer models that they generously sent me. And yeah, the amount of improvement in the way they like design their models is pretty impressive. Conquest is just one of the games I'll be talking about in my upcoming video, though. It's about like the tabletop, like a few different tabletop games that I enjoy. And yeah, I gotta be careful not to get any of this green on the dry brushing work I did. And all of my Conquest minis, because, you know, there's a lot of them to paint, so I'm definitely, like, I knew from the very start that I would have to be painting them in, like, tabletop quality. Oh, hey, Studson, thanks for popping by. Nice to see ya. Yes, this bird shirt cardigan combo. Yeah, I always have to wear this shirt with a cardigan because the shirt is like so, it's like so thrift story, like old and haggard, that it's got like holes that the cardigan has to hide and the sleeves are like too short. But it's just like the bird pattern's really good, so gotta keep wearing it, you know? Yeah, swampy is a great description. Don't know if you're still watching, Studson, but hope you're doing well. And hello, Addie Cox. Yeah, Bo, it is a fun game. Oh, you did buy shelves, Nathaniel. Nice. Yeah. Oh, yeah, if they're the floating shelves, that's like, makes it a bit more of a hassle to set them up if you don't have a stud finder. But yeah, Bo, it is a fun game. It's one of the guys on the Line of Sight podcast describes it kind of jokingly as like a skirmish game that's like pretending to be a rank and flank game, which is like kind of hard to interpret, but it's like rank and flank fantasy, you know, like everything ranks up into squares and rectangles, but you know, these are circle bases that like slot in, so it kind of solves a lot of issues that way. It's like really fast paced. This fall I read a bunch of the lore for this setting too, and I really enjoyed the lore. Yeah, see this part here, I can't tell if it's like part of the flesh or part of the cloth wrapping. I'm gonna say that it's part of the flesh just because I want it to be. And in terms of like when things are unbalanced, broken in the rules, the company has like pretty good track record of balancing them so far. Sorry, did I say your name wrong, Addy? Is it Addy or Addy? Or Addy? Thanks for the shelving tips, Bill. And yeah, also back to Conquest, the like army builder website type deal. It's like a little confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's like pretty nice and like streamlined the way it integrates, having like a way to explain the rules, and the way activation orders is done with the game is also really interesting, because you like have a deck of cards that you arrange like before the round starts. You arrange the cards in the order that you think you'll need the activations to happen, so you're kind of like, you have to like kind of guess what you think your opponent's gonna do and plan accordingly that way. So yeah, it's got a lot of interesting stuff going on, but it's also like scratches that wargamer itch by, you know, being a game that involves putting a lot of minis like ranked up into units with standard bearers and all that good stuff. Oh yeah, I bet, Bo. That's a very dad energy thing to do. Oh, ad. AIDS. Okay. AIDS, alright, I'll just call you AIDS. With your permission, of course. Yeah, you can kind of see how the wet palette paper is behaving a little funny here. This kind of happened when I was painting the artifact, but I remember it, like, the more I painted with it, it, like, got slightly better, so perhaps that'll continue. And, like, the part, I could paint the green into, like, the little bit of the neck that's showing here, but it's not going to be worth the, like, potential mistakes I could make, especially because there's going to be a bunch of wash slathered all over this. Burp too. Yeah, how much green was showing on the legs on this one? Okay, there was some. Alright, sounds good, AIDS. Anyways, we need some more paint. And last weekend I played a game of Mark III War Machine for the first time in like 2 years. The game had been like planned with my friend for a while, but like we had to reschedule, so in the time that we like rescheduled, the like new app with the like Mark IV War Machine beta rules launched, so we were playing in like the official like Mark IV era, which was kind of funny, but I'm kind of taking the approach now of like, I'll just like wait and watch Mark IV from a distance for a while and like let them iron out the kinks a bit and then play it. I'll just, when I want to play until then, I'll play Mark III, but there's like, you know, one person I can play with, essentially. I mean, there's maybe 1 or 2 people I can maybe rope into playing a game, but I don't have that much time for games in general. We were mostly playing a game because I was handing off my P3 wet palette to him, and I know I wanted to get some B-roll for the upcoming video, so I gave him the condition of, like, if you want the wet palette, you gotta come over for a game of War Machine. Which, you know, works for him because he also enjoys playing War Machine. I have like 3 factions. He has, I think, he has at least 5, possibly more. You know, if the Mark IV launch doesn't go great, I'll just gotta hope Mark III will live on as like a legacy game. Like, you know, there's that YouTube channel that's like an offshoot from mini wargaming essentially called Mountain Miniatures, and they are like still playing Warhammer Fantasy, and that game's been discontinued for years. I think sometimes they play like Warhammer Fantasy, or sometimes they play the like fan edition, like the Fantasy Armies project or something. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, Cyber Scorpio, you're a cabinet maker? Is that it? Yeah, Bo, the new War Machine is War Machine Mark IV. The one that I've built the Gen Con sample battle group, the Kador one, but I haven't actually played Mark IV. Oh, that's always a dilemma, isn't it, Ethanol? If you start painting, who knows how much time's gonna go by before you look at the clock and you're like, oh, I'm working in 5 hours. Okay, I'm almost done painting the green on this one. Yeah, it's hard to find, as a YouTuber, it's hard to find time to play any games. And then the second problem I have is like, okay, do I play Gamma Wolves, Conquest, War Machine, or the last one that I've like, or the friends I played with, we played Kill Team back in 2019, but I think at this point when we like get around to making plans to play again, we'll probably just play the one-page rules equivalent of Kill Team, which is like Grimdark Future Firefight or something. Burp 3. Oh, what Warhammer mini have you painted, AIDS? You threw the real grade Zeta in the trash. Oh no. Well, at least you kept part of it. F's in the chat for the real grade Zeta. I'm even gonna do an F for that. I feel like if I request F's in the chat, I should do one myself. Okay, I think the green on this one's done. Nice, I long for the job stability like that, Cyber Scorpio. What's it like being a cabinet maker, just in general? Tell me about what the career of a cabinet maker is like, if you don't mind. If you don't want to talk about work when you're just relaxing, watching the stream, that's cool too. No hard feelings. Last day, your current job in 3 hours. Oh, well, I hope that goes okay for you. And that whatever is coming up next in your life is also good for you. Loud and dusty, that makes sense. Yeah, you can all probably tell why I'm doing this green painting part first. It's got all those cracks I need to get into. And I finally started checking out House of the Dragon. I don't know how many Song of Ice and Fire fans are watching. I, like many people, was big on the Game of Thrones hype when that was airing. And, you know, Season 7 and Season 8 were no doubt hot garbage, but it was fun to watch them as they were airing and participate in all the memes, because, you know, when the show is that much of a dumpster fire, the memes are always fire. So it took me a while to get into, or to actually start watching House of the Dragon, you know, for a few reasons, but part of it was like I was still a little burned from the crap show that Game of Thrones was. Standard Space Marine. Yeah. The first minis I ever painted, the paint was definitely on too thick, and they're definitely like repainted many times without stripping them, so they just like had so much paint caked on them. Yeah, that's one thing. That's probably, if I was to like go into some kind of carpentry or cabinet making job, that would always be my biggest concern, is loss of digits. Happy belated birthday. 13 years, that's pretty decent for a TV. Witcher 3, that is a good game from what I hear. I haven't played the Witcher games, but, you know, I've always heard a lot about them. Part is red. I did enjoy the Witcher Netflix show as well, even though I hear the season 2 was, if you're a fan of the books, season 2 was like kind of insulting, apparently, which is totally fair. And then now reinforced by the fact of that news that came out this week of Henry Cavill not gonna be Geralt anymore after season 3. It's hard to tell whether that's because he's just a really in-demand actor, or it's probably a combination of that and like the writers not staying true to the books. At least we get season 3 with Henry Cavill. Yeah, burnt metal sounds cool. Hello, Dark Matter Crafts. Thanks for dropping by. No worries that you can't stay. Good luck at your hockey games. Probably just need one little bit more of this paint on the palette. Oh, and I'm just remembering now that in 2019 I played a decent amount of Soul Calibur 6, I believe it was, and you can play as Geralt of Rivia in that one. Fun fact. I'm just a sucker for shows with good, like, sword fights and stuff in it, you know? Easy to please that way. And then even doubly so when there's, like, dragons. So, I've only watched 2 episodes of House of the Dragon, but I want more, because that show has swords and dragons. And it's also just entertaining to call it Hot D. The paint's a little too runny. Have to come back to that section later. Okay, I think I mostly got that arm. Let's awkwardly paint into the cracks here. Thanks, AIDS. Glad you think so. I try to keep it pretty chill here. Falling asleep to the live streams. The soothing sounds of me swishing the paint around in the paint water. I know what you mean, Nathaniel. Speaking of paint water, the Sasabi Dreams, the paint water was most of the time just like colorful fruit juice, but now we just got some like Shrekky swamp water. Yeah, I tried to not, for the background music, I tried to not select too much that was like super upbeat and hype. But I also tried to not include too many just like super ambient tracks that I like usually use for the ASMR. Oh yeah, I can't remember if I said this at the beginning of the stream, but I meant to thank everybody who is engaged with all the shorts I've been uploading so far. It's been a little bit of a stressful experiment for me, but so far it's been worth it. Burp 4? I'm mostly just posting a lot of shorts this week so I can get through the backlog, because like I said, I don't want shorts to be my main focus. I just want to like port over all the ones from Instagram and get it over with and go back to just not uploading that often at all and just emerging every once in a while with a 20 to 30 minute long video. And of course streaming. I would have resumed my live streaming earlier, but as most of you probably know, I was getting over a cold, so didn't want to stream and just fill the mic with congested snot noises, you know? I don't think that many people would be into that kind of ASMR. And even though I didn't finish the Sasabi on stream like I wanted to, we still got a solid like 8 parts of that Sasabi stream. I'm glad you like the shorts. And, you know, if anyone watching doesn't like the shorts, that's totally cool. I get it. If you, I mean, I already said this before. If you unsubscribed because of the shorts, you're probably not watching this stream. But don't unsubscribe because you don't like shorts. They're in separate tabs now. Thank you for the plug, Bo. Appreciate it. Yeah, it is a callback for sure. And I have noticed some people will watch the short and then go watch the original video they're a part of, which is like the ideal outcome. Yeah, it's fine if you don't use the benefits at all, Daniel. I feel like the majority of Patreon, the majority of my Patreon, and from what I've heard of other people who have Patreons, is a lot of people just like support and never check out the benefits. So it seems like that's pretty normal. It's like most people, like if you're donating to the Patreon, you're doing it because you want to donate to the Patreon and support the creator, not because you want the benefits. The benefits are just like a bonus you get. And you know, some people run their Patreons with no benefits at all. Those are mostly like big established creators, you know, like Jim, Stephanie, Sterling. I don't know what their Patreon used to be, but right now it's like there's one tier, it's like, you know, $1 or $2, there's no benefits, it's just like a tip jar to support the show. And I bet there's a lot of Patreons that are like that. No, the Cyber Scorpio, are you getting notifications for my shorts? Because originally I wasn't, or for the first couple ones I had the box unchecked to like notify subscribers, and then I looked, the YouTube analytics told me that YouTube doesn't send bell notifications for shorts, but if you say you're getting them, then that's concerning. Unfortunately, I decided to turn on the notifications for all of them because after some testing, the ones that I uploaded that I didn't have the box checked performed way worse, like 3 or 4 times worse than the ones that were. So, kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. Hello, Robert. Welcome back. AIDS, I have the full mechanics, I don't know how you say it, Melee's Kenbu kit. I haven't built it yet. I feel like that's one I'll build on stream eventually, but I just got too much painting to take care of first. Burp 5. Okay, I think we're done with the green, so I timed that out well with the paint on the palette. Oh, we can just leave this one on the handle. So now we're switching over to good old game color terracotta. This bottle's almost empty, but I have another bottle ready to go, so don't worry. Yeah, YouTube Shorts, what a ride, I tell you. Some of them really blow up in views. Some of them get like no views for the first while, and it's concerning, and then they just like explode in views for no reason out of the blue. I just want, like I said earlier, I just want to get through the backlog and get it over with and just go back to the chill, not sending out notifications. But I know maybe there's like a handful of them that are already uploaded and like scheduled to post themselves over the next little while, but maybe when I upload the last batch I'll experiment with a couple more and not check the box. Oh yeah, this paint bottle's almost empty. Yeah, that's why I bought it, AIDS. It looked like a pretty cool kit to build. I have the like limited print one where it has like one leg and one arm. It might be just a leg, I can't remember, but it's got like some of them where the armor panels were made clear color. So it's like one of those kits I kind of just want to build and like, you know, play around with, not necessarily paint and worry about the paint chipping. Hence why I'm thinking of just having a stream where I build it, but I feel like I have to force myself to finish painting the Vidarbatos kit bash before I like just have a chill building stream, because the Vidarbatos kit bash like has a decent amount of work done on it already, and it's just been sitting as a whip for so long. Alright, see you later, Robert. Oh, cool, you got that one too. Yeah, that sounds cool, Ethanol. So yeah, this terracotta color is going on all the cloth bits. We'll see how long I can get away with using this big chunky brush that's in a bit of a sorry state. Yes, hot apple cider, or one of my friends recommended apple cider vinegar. I've been munching on vitamin C tablets for the last 2 weeks. Hardcore. Piece of dust or something stuck on there. Classic. Alright, well, we can definitely use the big thick brush on his big mittens here. Slag chop. I'm assuming you mean, oh, maybe you're saying slag chop on purpose to be funny, but I mean, slap chop is funny that became a whole controversial meme and everything. Because it's like, I've known that technique for years just as like zenithal priming and using transparent paints or inks. I'd like tried it a few times here and there. Never really refined it, but I have some Iron Kingdoms or some like War Machine models that I kit bashed to use in an Iron Kingdoms role-playing game campaign that, you know, I have no current plans to run, and because I didn't know, or it seemed like a good project to like experiment a bit with painting wise, I gave them like a really basic zenithal dry brush, and that was maybe like a month or two before that whole like slap chop thing became a whole trending meme. Like people getting, I think people just like will get mad in general when there's popular trending topics like that, because it doesn't take long for things to just get really clickbaity. But I don't know when I'll be painting those. I think the I'm like kind of lean towards the camp of like slap chop good, but I get why like people are annoyed by it, because it is just kind of like a technique that's been around for a while that's just given a new name. But I mean, the new admittedly buzzwordy name got more people talking about it and got more people aware of like a technique that's just good for speed painting, which like makes painting easier for people in general. So that's just like overall good for everyone. Like, I get why people get annoyed at it, but I don't think it's like reasonable to get super mad or triggered about it. And like, yeah, YouTube clickbait and like everyone hopping on the trending topic is annoying. I get that, but that's just kind of how the YouTube ecosystem works. You know, especially like I don't do this as like a full-time job, or like I don't make enough money to consider it making a living. So I don't really like concern myself too much with following trending topics. You know, if if I was dependent on like paying my rent and buying groceries on how well my YouTube videos did, I would definitely like feel very strongly compelled to make a slap chop video, because even if like people got mad at me for making that, it would do well. Like negative reactions is still engagement, and that makes the YouTube algorithm push your videos most of the time. And you know, if you're relying on YouTube and that kind of stuff to pay your bills, then that can like, you know, put food on the table. So, you know, content creators making the slap chop painting videos, I totally get why they did it. Don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, I know what video you're talking about, Bo. I think like probably like the first time I became aware of that kind of technique was a Dana Howell video. I think it was just called underpainting. I feel like I watched it. It was probably like in 2018, more than a year ago. So yeah, no, of course it makes sense that she would, you know, do another video about that and put slap chop in the title. I don't know if any of you follow Tabletop Inquirer. They're like a satirical tabletop games journalism. They're journalist, kind of like The Onion, but for Warhammer memes. They had a funny picture when that whole slap chop thing was happening. It was just like, F it, just put slap chop in the title and see if it does well, see if it gets clicks. Yeah, clickbait's a hard topic to navigate sometimes. It's undeniable that it's effective, but I get why people grow tired of it. I think that's probably part of the reason why there was the backlash to slap chop in the first place. Is like people are just like getting clickbait fatigue in general. Oh, sorry, I missed some messages there. Yeah, ginger tea. Yeah, ginger ale does taste way better. Burp 5, that was a big one. The Ghost Mark II from Kyokai Senki. Yeah, I haven't watched any Kyokai Senki, but I have seen some fun designs come out of it. Yeah, slag, I have heard about that being a raunchy insult in the UK. So yeah, I don't know how to sum up my feelings on slap chop. I think overall slap chop's good, and slap chop is just like a new word for something that's existed for a while. Yeah, I mean, there can be good clickbait and bad clickbait. I don't like my approach to the YouTube videos, at least, you know, with the exception of the shorts backlog I've been posting through lately, is I'm kind of just uploading the stuff as I see fit, and like not really playing the YouTube game, which, you know, harms me algorithm wise, but I'm not trying to like hit 100,000 subscribers or any of that, because YouTube's just a part of what I do. I'm just, you know, making, well, with the exception of the one I'm working on right now, but I'm just making videos according to what the patrons vote for. Just the one I'm currently working on has just been one I've needed to get out of my system for a long time. The various focus and topics of it have morphed a bit over the months, but once I get it out there, I feel like there'll be a big weight lifted off my chest. It's kind of how I felt about the Real Grade High New Gundam video. It felt like a big weight was lifted off my chest when I uploaded that one. Even though I said decals wrong the entire time. Just painting the butt. The longest answer you've ever had. I don't even remember what the question was. Oh, you started the whole slap chop thing. I mean, generally when people ask me questions on stream, I'll have a tendency to ramble on and go on tangents. That's why it's good when people ask me questions on stream, because it gives me something to talk about so there isn't as much silence. The high-grade Nightingale, if I got the high-grade Nightingale, I would not hand paint it, because that thing is massive. Maybe I would like freehand. I've seen a lot of fun Nightingales. Like there's someone in the local community where I am painted like a bunch of nice sakura cherry blossom designs all over it, so I could do some freehand designs over it, but I would not do Model Mayhem style on the Nightingale. It's way too big. It would take, like the real grade Sasebe took 115 hours. Can you imagine doing the high grade Nightingale? Ooh, the amplified Metal Garurumon. Blue Parappa has that model. It is very good. The amplified Digimon kits, or most of them slap. Yeah, Blue Parappa got, this last weekend, she picked up the new one, Alphamon, so pretty excited to watch her build that one. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember how I learned to say it decal, but like for years I've said it that way. And like during those years, I definitely heard other people call them decals, and I probably just like, you know, this was the years before I was putting myself out there on YouTube, so I like didn't care as much how I pronounced it. I mean, I'm assuming it's probably, you know, when I was very young and became aware of the word in the first place, I probably heard someone pronounce it decal and just, you know, copied it unquestioningly for years. RD Chart, apparently you're supposed to say it to decals. I mean, I have it on good authority at this point that that is the proper way to say it, but I mean, if someone's gonna like get super triggered by you saying it wrong and call you out in a mean way about it, then like, you know, that's mean, and I would suggest not doing that to anybody. People say things wrong all the time. And if you get super bothered by that, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. And decal is mine. A Nightingale versus She or Penelope Gundam diorama. Yeah, that would take up like one whole shelf all by itself. Yeah, the Digimon kits are super underrated. AIDS. Hello, Caleb. You have entered the chat. That is correct. Congratulations. Well, thanks, Artie Chard. There was one person in the community that had like, this happened a while ago. They had more subscribers than me, and they were like subtly, not so subtly, roasting me for like some errors I made in my decal applications on that model. It was kind of painful because it was a painter that I looked up to. And then I just saw them making a post making fun of me, essentially. Had to stop following them after that. I mean, it's fine to criticize my work, I guess. But I don't know, they did it in a bit of a mean way. You know, like, these niche communities can get a little spicy like that sometimes. Shout, Mom. I'll have to ask a Blue Parappa about that one later. Yeah, Warhammer Underworlds, that's a good game that's like just in a good sweet spot of like really being very appealing to painters and like appealing if you want to collect models from a bunch of different factions, because all you gotta do is paint one warband and you don't need like a massive 6x4 table to play it on. I've only played like one full proper game of Warhammer Underworlds though. Yeah, this part of the leg, I guess it's kind of hard to see what I'm painting from this angle, but it's hard to tell where the cloth is and where the flesh is. Sorry, I'll try and power through the rest of this part so you all can look at, actually see what I'm doing. I'll paint a part that isn't covered up by a massive weapon. Unsolicited feedback, that's the word I was looking for. Criticism is okay, but giving someone unsolicited feedback is kind of a little troublesome sometimes, I find, and then making fun of someone's work behind their back, but also in a way that's like easy for them to like see or run into. It's a little awkward. They shamed themselves. Oh, hello, Fatal Swordsman. I was describing our game of War Machine earlier. Yeah, Warcry and Underworlds, they're easy to mix up. Warcries are like Underworlds, but slightly, it's like on the sliding scale of like to full-on war game. Warhammer Underworlds is like further towards the like war game side of things. Underworlds is more of like board game. A horse's rear end in every crowd, yep. Yeah, that's what I did, I just walked away. Warcry is AOS light and Underworlds is a card-based board game. Yeah, that's a better way to describe it than I just did. The Delta Chi, that's a good one. Thanks for complimenting the beard, AIDS. Yeah, it's at decent like now. I don't know if any of you noticed, but my hair is shorter now. I did the usual thing where I just trimmed it myself because I'm too cheap to get a haircut. But I trimmed off a bit too much, and then, you know, you gotta keep it even, so I took off way more hair than I intended, but I'm okay with it now. Yeah, it was a good game, Fatal Swordsman. Looking forward to the next one, whether it's Mark III or Mark IV. Thanks for the beard compliments, chat. It's helping my self-esteem. The Delta Chi, that's a cool kit. No wonder it's out of stock. Okay, I was getting a little distracted there. Let's get back to the painting. Oh, damn. This model in particular just has like big paddle-sized blades that just block the brushwork I'm doing. It's Gonna be fun to apply shifter paint to those with a brush. Yeesh. Yeah, I'm also still unsure of Mark IV. I don't know if you were in the watching earlier when I was describing. I'm kind of taking the approach now of just like gonna watch from a distance for a while and let other people iron out the kinks. The Scorn Facebook group, for those of you who don't know, Scorn is one of the factions I play, but this it's fun. It's a meme at this point that like every time there's an edition change, Scorn just gets really screwed over. Everyone's like lamenting how much certain, or like how bad certain models are now. Apparently the Bronzeback Titan is like pretty bad. And I think I have it in the script for the upcoming video. I have like some joke in the script of like, I survived late Mark II when Crick's Body and Soul and Lilith 2 lists were terrorizing, and the beginning of Mark III where Scorn was unplayable. Whew. Burp 6. Alright, good luck with that, AIDS. Oh yeah, the Masquerade Comfort, that's a cool one. Yeah, Fatal Swordsman, I listened to a podcast that interviewed Matt Wilson a while ago, and at one point he said, he's like, there's no way we're gonna like, you know, nail the landing on all the like rules updates for Mark IV. And now that like the beta rules are out, I'm like, yep, he was definitely right about that. I just hope the staff at Privateer Press aren't like being overworked and crunched like in the video game industry. Like, you know, the tabletop games industry is much smaller than video games, so I have no idea how much, if there's like this similar problem of crunch that exists in the gaming industry. But, you know, I know Privateer Press doesn't have as many employees as they used to. So I hope, at the very least, the employees are being treated fairly. I'll wait as long as it takes for like good Mark IV rules, if it means the employees don't have to crunch and work overtime. Like, it's not worth it. Gee which, I still have only watched the prologue, and I feel bad about that because, you know, everything I see about it on social media, every time it comes up, I'm like, man, I gotta watch more of that. It looks really good, and seeing lots of good memes about it. I've watched the prologue twice, actually. I also watched the first 2 episodes of Chainsaw Man. That was really good. I feel like G-Witch might be one of those ones where it's like, oh, me and Blue Prep will wait till this first season is done and we just like watch all the episodes in pretty rapid succession. We'll see. Oh yeah, I meant to say earlier, right before the stream, I watched Plamotherapist's new video. If anyone has questions about like working with resin for a gunpla and stuff, he did like a kind of Q&A type of video. It was very helpful. He's been doing just videos about, or he's been working on, I think it's a strike free, I don't know, I get the strike ones mixed up sometimes, but he's working on like a Gundam Seed resin conversion kit and like making various videos about it as he works, and like it's acting as a good kind of resin conversion tutorial series. Highly recommend. And I have no current plans to do any like total resin conversion kits or anything like that. But if I ever want to, I've got, you know, those videos to refer to. Yeah, Chainsaw Man was pretty, it was pretty funny, and like also had good action and gore and animation. Speaking of crunch, one concern I had with Chainsaw Man is that it's animated by Studio Mappa, who also has done, I think they also did Spy X Family, which is like a really big popular anime lately, and they've been doing the final season of Attack on Titan and Chainsaw Man and all these shows of like pretty high quality animation. So I'm also like, are these staff okay? Because it kind of seems like they're being overworked if they're putting out all this great animation. Gee, which is your favorite? Interesting. Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons Chainsaw Man was so hyped at Daniels, because there was like lots of people that enjoyed the manga. My favorite part about the 2 episodes of Chainsaw Man I did see were just how cute Puchita was, the little chainsaw demon doggo. So cute. I'm guessing one of my predictions for the when me and Blue Preppa go to the local anime convention in the spring, because we already got our passes, my prediction is that at least one of us will buy a Puchita plushie and take it home. Because I feel like there's going to be that those are going to be for sale. Oh yeah, the stuff I'm hearing about what's happening at Twitter now that Elon Musk is there just sounds like a nightmare, and it does not sound good. Seems like a big L for everyone involved. Dang Elon Musk. No one wants to pay $8 a month for Twitter verification. Okay, well, I'm sure some people want to, but most people, I feel like, aren't gonna be into that. That's all I really feel like saying about Elon Musk and Twitter right now. I'm not very good at using Twitter, though. Twitter's hard to navigate. I'm pretty new to it, relatively. Yeah, you know what's up, Nathaniel. Puchita is just like, it's just plush bait. You see it and you're like, that is gonna be merch that sells very well. Yeah, crunch and like overworking's a huge issue in the anime and manga industry. Well, Bo, that's not free. We have to give them all of our data. We're being harvested. You're pretty sure you don't have Twitter. I mean, if you did have an account and you haven't used it in a long time, it's probably been like automatically deleted by now. That's what happened to like a Twitter account I had made in like 2011 or something. That's right. Our attention is the product. Or what we have to pay. I looked at my chat overlay and saw that old super chat from Otaku Builder, and it reminded me of Otaku Builder's latest video where he did that Optimus Prime model kit. Did anyone in chat watch that? That was another excellent Otaku Builder video. Pretty impressive as always, but I don't think it was as impressive as the Star Trek Enterprise he had done previously. That was crazy. Yeah, I mostly got to Twitter because I wanted to, or because like more Twitter's more popular than Instagram in Japan. I wanted to like follow some Japanese modelers, and in that sense, it was worth it. There's this one, I can't remember their name. I've retweeted their oh, sorry, we're out of focus. I've retweeted their stuff a couple times. They like make custom 40k models that are kind of silly. Like they made they put like the chainsword that the Imperial Knight uses. They like made a kit bash or a Space Marines holding it, so it's like this massive chainsword. Or they like kit bashed a really like absurdly long chainsword and made a Space Marine hold it. Or they made like a Space Marine riding a cat cavalry, just like a house cat of like you know, like a model from a different scale. So it was like horse sized, but a Space Marine was riding it. It was pretty hilarious. Okay, we're getting close to finishing the terracotta on this one. Hello, Just Roll Sixes. Thank you for the kind comment. I appreciate that. I'm glad you like the Gamma Wolf stuff. What was your first gunpla that you built recently? Did you enjoy the Gamma Wolf's battle report? Or have you not watched that one yet? Because that was the ultimate finale for the Gamma Wolf's videos. That's not me saying that there won't ever be any more Gamma Wolves videos. Although I'm still in the like cool off period in terms of like doing Gamma Wolves videos. For a while there was a lot of them. Okay, I think we just gotta paint the mitten now. Burp 7? Yeah, that's one awkward thing about, like, maybe that's a change Elon Musk is gonna do, or like inactive Twitter accounts get deleted. It's like, doesn't seem fair exactly if someone, you know, needs a break to recharge from social media for a while. It's kind of crappy if they would take a break for their mental health, come back to find their account deleted. Sorry, the camera's being a little jittery there. I don't know how long the YouTube studio page says the bit rate is bad. I don't know how long that's been going on for. Just gonna turn the camera on and off 1 sec. See if that does anything. It looks like that fixed the jittering. Alright, let's just finish off the terracotta on this, and then we can do the terracotta on the other one. As much as I did praise YouTube about the recent update they did with the whole like separate tabs for short and live, I am a little annoyed that I wasn't able to get the live streams to display in proper chronological order. Like when I'm looking in YouTube Studio, it shows the proper order of like the last stream or the most recent streams all being the TsukasaWM ones, but then when you look at the YouTube, my actual YouTube channel page, it says the most recent streams are the Scorn painting ones from the summertime, and the TsukasaWM ones are like all the way down at the bottom. I'm sure most of that is due to some error I made, but I tried a couple things to try and fix it, and it didn't quite do it. It's not a big deal, it's just like a mild annoyance. But it will be nice, you know, once this stream is over, I won't have to go unlisted and make sure it's in the playlist. I can just let it exist. And if someone who missed the stream wants to watch it, all they have to do is just go click on the streams tab. Okay, the terracotta on this one is done. Yeah, the bitrate is still mediocre. Apparently, that's too bad. That's one way to phrase it, AIDS. Good one. Alright, we need to squeeze some more out of this almost empty bottle. I feel like you knew exactly how you were phrasing that when you typed it. I thought it was funny. The high-grade Hainu. Oh, well, I hope you enjoy the battle report when you do get around to it, you know, whenever you feel like it, no rush. Yeah, building the high-grade Hainu, and then following up with the real grade Hainu, that'll be an interesting experience. That'll be one of the best demonstrations of the difference between high grade and real grade I can think of. How's the quality of the stream look for everybody? Ooh, you primed 90 minis. That's impressive. What were you priming? Caleb, I mean, I'm using this brush because I have nicer brushes, Caleb. I'm just like, this one in particular is very haggard. Just look at the crack running down it. The tip it holds is pretty decent. But like, yeah, it was fine. I have nicer brushes. I'm just not using them right now. I'm saving them for, you know, the very precise work. Because no matter how well I take care of brushes, you know, you know, they'll wear down with use eventually. They're tools. So I like to save the really nice ones for the really precise work. And did they get the joke there, AIDS? Or did they think it was funny at least? Or was it friends off after that? Your 90 minis you painted, Bo, let me guess, is that for an Imperial Guard force? Or Tyranids, perhaps? Or some zombies? Skaven slaves? Oh, a wild mix, nice. Ah, that sounds very efficient then, well done. I don't know what the climate's like where you live, but it sounds like you're doing the old get all the priming done before winter hits so you have stuff to paint when you're stuck inside. Yeah, it's like my nicest brushes are my least used ones because I need those ones to I need the tip to just stay nice and sharp for as long as I can. Yeah, sandpaper's like that too. Yeah, I mean, you can do stuff to like prolong the use of your sanding sponges. But you know, it won't last forever. Yeah, this guy has some more slightly interesting areas of terracotta, like his plumed hat and the cloth across his back here. I don't know what you'd call it, just some decorative cloth. I suppose if I wanted to, I could paint it to be like some morbid stretched skin or something. That seems like something the Spire would do. Oh, glad he had a good sense of humor. Sounds like a good friend then. Oh, that was a good dad thing to do, Bo. Yo, what up, Fiverr? How's it going? Everyone say hi to Fiverr. Lord General Sugar Candy Miniatures has arrived. See ya, John Bear. Oh no, you dropped your razor sander, it cracked. I think I know what sander that is. It's like one of the nice ones. What movie did you watch? If you don't mind sharing. Oh, sorry, I bopped the mic with the brush there. Vamp. You like the Lord General? Good. Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. Nice. Where are the kings arguing? I don't know, I read the lore like a month or so ago. I'm trying to remember. I mean, there's multiple answers I can think of to that question. There's like a whole part about the dwarf faction in Conquest has like a whole civil war, and then the like vanilla human faction is called the 100 Kingdoms, so they're kind of like a bunch of different factions that have a lot of politics going on. So plenty of arguments to be had there. The like undead Roman legionnaire army, the Old Dominion, they were like, you know, they used to not be undead. They used to like be a empire, you know, like the Roman Empire before they collapsed. So there's plenty of arguments that happened in the lead up to that. Even the Spire faction, they have like a cool offshoot faction that is coming out probably in like 2024 called the Weaver Courts, and they're like a cool blend of the Spire models like this, but like more wood elfy. Yes, Fiverr did indeed enjoy Ava, as I hoped and guessed they would. My favorite paint brand is probably, if you're talking about just the paints themselves and not the bottles, I would say Formula P3 by Privateer Press is my favorite. But I mean, this kind of goes for every paint brand. I wish they came in Vallejo dropper bottles. Burp 8. And like, I do have generic dropper bottles that I put other paints in. And this one's really separated, but like, it's a kind of a pain to transfer paints into other bottles, and then you like lose a little paint in the process. So I just kind of like suck it up and use the pots I don't like. Alright, thanks for coming by, Ethanol. Have a good night. I feel you there, Fiverr. It's really hard to reel in those script ideas sometimes. Yeah, TsukasaWM 87. That faction's called the Old Dominion. They're very neat. I enjoy them. Yeah, Caleb, I do want to try Scale 75 eventually. There aren't really any retailers in my area that carry it, unfortunately, and I don't want to pay the premium price to order it in, so I'm sure I'll get to try it eventually. I'm not like exactly hurting for paint right now. I got plenty of paint to use. You know, if I happened upon a store that was selling Scale 75, I would probably pick up some. Why YouTube explained videos kill the joy of the Eldritch. That's a good title. I support this video idea, Fiverr. I'd watch that. Or like if I didn't know who Sugar Candy Miniatures was and I came across that video title on my YouTube sidebar, I'd be tempted to, at the very least, click the add to watch later button, as I often do. My YouTube watching habits is an endless cycle of like just adding a ton of stuff to my watch later playlist and then going, oh man, there's way too much on my watch later, I need to get through this, and then I watch it all eventually, and then I'm like, oh, it's empty, that's satisfying, and then I just fill it up again. Yeah, you always need a model. Simple solution, don't script it. Making YouTube videos is hard. Thankfully, I have a hack. Don't make YouTube videos. Do something else. I feel like most people that have either, you know, like just made YouTube videos casually or like, you know, become a quote-unquote YouTuber have done so despite hearing advice from many other YouTubers saying, don't do it, it's you'll take too much psychic damage. But then, you know, that probably just galvanized. If people are gonna make YouTube videos, you know, this goes for me too. Hearing someone say that just kind of makes you want to do it more. Yeah, you gotta, here's your thumbnail idea, Fiverr. You gotta find a kit that can, you know, pose properly in it, and then you gotta make or find a scale model of that kind of like folding chair that Shinji is sitting in. And it's like existential crisis, you know, that like iconic photo where he's like sitting in the like inside his own head purple void background, and he's sitting on that metal folding chair with his like hand in his heads like that. So your thumbnail should be whatever model you paint, assuming it's like a posable model, you just put it in that pose in like a scale model chair and have it like having an existential crisis. Oh, you're resistant to psychic damage. How'd you get that one? How'd you get that buff, I mean? Asking for a friend. Oh, I'm glad I helped show you some cool new undead models then, Toe Sucker. I have for my Conquest stuff, you know, I have like the 2-player set plus some extras, so I have Spires and the 100 Kingdoms. But if I was just like picking a new faction, there's a few tough choices. Like the Old Dominion look really cool, and also the Wadroon. It's really hard to turn down the Wadroon because, like, you know, orcs riding dinosaurs, like, come on. And the Dweghome have some pretty cool minis as well. And, you know, next year the new City States faction will be coming out. Damn, the bitrate's still kind of mediocre. I hope no one's complained about the quality of stream or anything, so I'll just ignore it. I'll just keep painting, you know. It is what it is. Oh, that's some dark humor there, Caleb. It's somewhat fitting for our discussion about Evangelion that we're having, though, so. Okay, oh, we'll just paint the back of this, and then we gotta switch to this smaller brush. Oh, that's good that you can still stream in 1080p. I'll stop worrying about the bitrate then. I ain't trying to stream in 4K or anything. Fiverr, I know your Army Painter Regiment brush is in a pretty sorry state, but how's it compare to mine right now? Because this one is, this is like a new tier of haggardness for me. I don't know what happened to this. It just like started cracking one day, and then the crack just started going, and I added tape to it. It's still holding a tip pretty well, though. If it hinders the beard viewing, well, the beard you can only see in the small corner camera from like my laptop's crappy webcam, so. I'm glad you're enjoying what you can see, I guess. If I ever get really desperate for views and want to go maximum clickbait, I'll just shave my beard and put that in the thumbnail. Oh, Fiverr, you know what's hilarious? Is the last time I shaved my beard was in 2019, and it was because I was cosplaying as Shinji for the local anime convention in my area. I was going as Shinji, and my friend that I watched JoJo with was going as Kwaru. And the day after one of the reasons why I'm just a beardy boy, well, I mean, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but like if I shave the beard off, the razor burn I get is just like brutal, and my face just totally breaks out. And it's not fun. So, and I've had the beard for so long now, it's just part of my identity brand, whatever, so my natural resting state is just beard. I can't tell which part is flesh or which part is cloth again. Maybe I need to paint the other side of the leg. Yeah, I have noticed the chat, like on the display on the stream overlay, just like updates a bunch of messages in big batches. Makes me think that there's like a spam bot or something, but it's just catching up. Streamlabs just being funky. Because I haven't streamed in a while, perhaps. Gaming with the existential friends. Sounds like an existential time. I should have brought the chair for the cosplay. Let Fiverr finish JoJo at their own pace. We don't want them to grow resentful of the JoJo. Hello, Broderick. Welcome. I mean, how do you not resent JoJo after getting through part 3? But it's like that love-hate relationship where you still kind of keep watching it. I was a bit careless with this brush and I got too much paint in the ferrule. How foolish of me. You're impressed I said Broderick, right? Were you expecting me to say Bro Derek? Yeah, that's a relatable problem there, Fiverr. That's why it's taken me so long to finish Rings of Power and The Witch from Mercury. And now Fiverr, I started Hot D yesterday, so I've watched 2 episodes of House of the Dragon. I kind of knew I was gonna like that show, because, you know, it's got swords, it's got dragons, that's just easy fan service for me. Although sometimes it's hard not to think about that one silly dancing scene from Morbius when Matt Smith is like on screen brooding, you know? I haven't even seen Morbius, you know, I've just seen endless meme videos about it on YouTube. Really hard to tell at certain parts of the leg what part's cloth and what isn't. I'm gonna say this part's cloth. At the end of the day, I'm painting tabletop qualities, so doesn't really matter that much. You're like, who's gonna be looking at the bottom of the thighs? Swords and dragons. Yeah, it is fun to be excited about Game of Thrones again. I mean, part of the reason why it took me so long to watch House of the Dragon was because I was still, like, slightly salty about Game of Thrones. What's ROP mean? Toe sucker? Oh, Emma Darcy. Is that the actress or the actor that plays Rhaenyra? So that they're like a they, them, and IRL? Oh, okay, the Lady K, I gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, Rings of Power, of course. I mean, me and Blue Prap have only watched 3 episodes and it's like a little slow. Lord of the Rings has had such a strong impact and influence in my life, though. Like, I feel obligated to at least finish this first season of it. You know, some plot lines of the characters we enjoy more than others. So far it's been a bit on the slow side for our tastes, but we haven't given up yet. It's hard to like... It's also hard to judge because so much of the like discourse around it online, it's like hard to find an opinion that isn't just super swung to either side. Okay, well, that's a fun fact I learned about them. And their name, Emma Darcy. Cool. Yeah, it's funny. After I watched the first episode of House of the Dragon, I like immediately went to the website for the Song of Ice and Fire miniatures games and just like looked at a bunch of the miniatures they had, because I've been, you know, like following the release of that game since it came out, as I do with many war games. And, you know, next thing I knew, I just had dozens of tabs open. Being like, what if I started this army? What if I started this army? And then, you know, I had to mentally slap myself on the wrist and be like, no. Think of all the games you already play. You cannot start another one. 7 hells. Congrats on finishing the body aids. Oh, so did I help you get into 100 Kingdoms because you watched my YouTube video, Broderick? And Nilfgaard, that's a good way to, or that's a good color scheme for an army. Yeah, I've heard from a couple people that they like watched my Conquest video and then like got into the game, which is always wholesome to hear about. You love to see it. Yeah, it's also fine to paint minis for a game and never play it. That's true. I think Five said something about that in their Discord the other day, where they're like, the real game that we're good at is painting the minis and putting them on display nicely on a shelf. That's the thing I'm a pro gamer at, is displaying the armies. That's where the real magic happens, is painting a bunch of stuff and then lining it all up on a shelf and be like, hey, look, friends, I painted all this. Or look, internet. Because, yeah, you can have an impressive paint job on a mini and, like, enter it into a competition, but what I think is equally as impressive is having a bunch of minis painted consistently, all sitting together. Yeah, same, Fives, same. I played in a War Machine tournament once where usually there was like, when they would hand out prizes at the end, there's usually a prize for best painted, as I feel like most wargaming tournaments do that. And the guy who won best painted, like if you looked at his minis up close, the paint jobs were like really messy, and you know, I don't want to like make that sound too mean, but like it wasn't like extreme technical prowess and the paint skill, but his whole army was just like painted very consistently together, and it all just like looked really nice together sitting on the tray. So enough people voted for his army to be best painted just because it like looked really good consistently together as an army. Final nail in the coffin, nice. Glad I could do that for you then. Yeah, I'm hoping in 2023 I'm able to play more Conquest, or just more games in general. And you know, it'd be nice to get more games in the tail end of 2022 here as well, but you know, I got some stuff on my plate I'm taking care of. The work in progress of the Vidarbatos project has been staring at me for basically half a year. That's definitely one of my soft goals that I really would like to accomplish by the end of this year. That'll really feel like the end of an era, is finishing that, just because it's been a whip for so long. I'm sure some of you can relate. I mean, these Conquest minis have been a whip for a long time as well. I am enjoying getting back to these after so long. Especially after painting that 115-hour-long Sasabi. I mean, that was very rewarding to paint, don't get me wrong, but you know, painting 115 hours of anything will make you want to take a break and paint something else for a while. It's also been rewarding that the posting that to social media this week has been doing very well. Everyone seems to like it. Thank you, Fives. Yes, the Purple Boy is complete. It was an epic journey. I like kind of changed my lighting setup in between like the final whip photos and like taking the finished photos. So the purple looks like a different shade of purple when you compare the two, like compare the different stages of photos, but I think the final photos turned out pretty well. Yeah, the Sasabe is one of those iconic mobile suits, there's not much else like it. Got some beautiful curves for sure. I'm glad I feel like I was able to do it justice. I think once I'm done painting the terracotta on this, I need to take a quick bathroom break, but now we're coming up on 2 hours. I don't know if this stream will make it to 3 hours. I do feel like I need to ease myself back into the streaming a bit because I'm still slightly congested, but the stage after painting this terracotta is to slather this in a wash. So when that's done, I'll probably need a lot of time to dry anyways. That'll probably be like a good natural stopping point anyways. Clean up a little mistake there. Welcome back, Robert. the right amount of thickness. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Ava Unit 1 is also one of those iconic mecha designs. Thanks, Bo. Are you referring to the Conquest minis or the Sasabi? It's fair. With these Spire minis I've been painting, I remember when I came up with the scheme kind of around the same time, there was someone in the Conquest Discord that was painting Spires that were like a very similar color scheme. I'm not accusing them of copying me or anything. I just thought it was a funny coincidence. You know, great minds think alike. I mean, the scythe it's meant to only be a one-handed weapon. The scythe came from a 30-minute missions accessory pack. But you know, it was a commission for a client, so all the kit bashing stuff was approved by them before I committed to gluing anything. So as long as they're happy, that's all I want. Okay, I wasn't sure if that was cloth for a second, but I think it's good. Oh, the Conquest. Yeah, this the wash I'm about to put all over it really does wonders as well. I'm very happy with how both the color scheme, or how the color schemes for my 100 Kingdoms and Spires came together for my Conquest minis, because I think like the colors just complement each other well. Like for faction versus faction, they're like different, very different, but like don't clash too much. 30-minute missions is very good for kit bashing, it's true. I've seen, Robert, I haven't seen that episode of G-Witch, but I've seen memes comparing that goat scene with the goat part in the new Doan's Island movie. I feel like they're animated by the same person at Sunrise. It's pretty funny. So yeah, I've seen lots of memes from G-Witch, but I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. Okay, I think we got all the terracotta on this boy done. I am going to just stand up, have a quick stretch, get some water, use the bathroom, and then it's washing time, so I will be back momentarily, everybody. Thank you for your patience. I will just put up the holding screen momentarily. Be right back. Oh, is Choo Choo the character with the like big poofy pink hair? I thought you were talking about the scene with the literal goat, but I'll check the chat when I'm back. Okay, I'm back. What'd I miss? Okay. The stakes are not high enough. I haven't tried oil washes, Bo. Mostly because I don't want to deal with, like, the fumes. But, it seems like... Or I totally get the appeal of why, like, lots of people are trying oil washes and just painting with oils in general. I would, I mean, I don't know what your Zaku to... I think there's one person I was talking to, or I was doing like a little group collab with a long time ago, who was doing an oil wash on a Gunpla kit, but I think they were doing it like on the bare plastic, and the like plastic crumbled in their hands because of the mineral spirits or whatever. But you know, if the griming you're doing on your Zaku too is like primed already and cured and everything, it's probably fine. But you know, if you've got some unpainted joints or something in there, you probably already know that that would be risky. Soletta Sundays. Oh no. Is that in reference to the Gundam crumbling? Yeah, it was a tragic thing to hear about. Oh, there's still a bit of Coke left. Yeah, I mean, I've had plastic crack and like crumble a bit from overusing the like extra thin super glue, like getting too much of it into a joint when I'm like locking up a joint for a for a Gamma Wolves mini. That's why I've like, the more of them I do, the less glue I try and use. But you know, I still definitely stand by my decision to lock some of the moving parts in place, because with the way I'm painting them, the moving parts will just cause the paint to rub off anyways. Alright, just need to grab my little paint tray here for the wash. One awkward thing about this Conquest paint job is it uses the Secret Weapon sewer water wash, but I believe Secret Weapon is just out of business now and just does not make this, so hopefully this lasts for my entire army. So otherwise, I mean, it's like just a very strong brown wash, so I'm sure I'll be able to find a replacement, but you know, it's always a little stressful thinking about, like, you know, you want to find something that's close enough that it doesn't, that you can't tell. Yeah, well, I mean, if people are using oil washes on minis, in theory, it's doable with Gunpla as well. It's just, you know, if any of that seeps into a spot where there's unpainted plastic, you're could be a disaster. Okay, I just want to wipe up a bit of this leftover terracotta because I don't want it to like pool too much depending on how long the palette gets left. Okay, that's probably fine. Yeah, those were the days. I also use Secret Weapon, their cool gray wash a lot for my Lizardman / Seraphon painting scheme, and I have like one unopened bottle and like one bottle that's maybe got like a quarter left full in there, but when that runs out, that will be similarly awkward. All right, let's just move this aside. No, I couldn't figure it out, Robert. You'll have to tell us. Okay, before I wash those, we also need to add the sewer water to the bases here, which haven't really shown on stream. There isn't much to show. It's just, you know, some sand that's been dry brushed. And they go in the base like that. This is the genius of Conquest, the last argument of kings. You don't have ranking up issues because they can just rotate in the base. Do I want to use this? I'm trying to think. Oh, I have a better brush. I have a. It originally was a nice Winsor & Newton sable brush, but it's like basically lost the tip now. So we'll use that as our wash application brush. It's still good for base coating, but you know, like not much of a tip left on this, but it was a real workhorse brush for a while. This was like the very first like nice sable brush I bought, and as soon as I started painting with it, I was like, wow, how did I go this long without using nice sable brushes? It makes a huge difference. Yeah, Kalinus, they're just a good basing solution in general. That's right, there's another secret weapon wash. I was like, before I picked out this one, I was thinking of using this other one that was literally called Baby Poo. But I was like, that's a little much for me. Let's stick with sewer water. My favorite, a good old relaxing wash application. Nothing precise that needs to happen here. Just covering it all in sewer water. I need to remember to take a casual phone photo after the stream, because this will be a good stage to document for the whip photos. And you know, when you're painting the base, you barely have to worry about the wash pooling too much at all, because it's just the base. Yeah, it's not quite a, if I was to replace it, I don't think, like, I think it's a stronger brown or like a more orangey brown than Agrax Earth Shade. I'm not sure if I could replace it with that. I mean, there's bound to be, and it's like, it's probably closer to Army Painter's Strong Tone, but also, or not Strong Tone. Oh yeah, Strong Tone's the one I'm thinking of. You know, there's plenty of brown washes out there. I'm sure I'll be able to find something to replace it. Or who knows, maybe I'll find some rare hobby store somewhere that has a bottle of secret weapons sewer water. Bankai Shiden. Oh, okay. I haven't seen Bleach, so I don't know what the Bankai sword is. Sewer water looks like algae. Are you talking about real life sewer water? I suppose I could start the process of being more or I could like just start being a bit more conservative with the sewer water and just add a little bit of thinner. But I'm not sure how that thinner will interact. You know, okay, this bottle, I only have used it for these Conquest minis, so I'm just gonna have to believe in myself. Garagak sewer. Oh, algae the wash. What brand is that? Is that like Vallejo? Gotta adjust the chair. Sorry if I bump the desk here. Ugh. I can do a nice laid back painting position for the wash. I don't need a hunch over to get those details. Oh, what models you getting, Kalenus? Oh, you meant like algae in a real sewage. Okay, gotcha. Sounds like a good model Mayhem style project if you ask me, Kalenus. Let's hold this a bit closer to the camera for y'all. Now I gotta worry a bit more about the wash pooling, but, you know, not that much. And it's also worth paying attention to just to, like, get the most out of the paint that's on the brush and not, you know, make it last longer. The bottle, that is. Yeah, we are having some issues with bubbles forming, though. That could be from the brush, perhaps. Covering his butt in sewer water as you do. I've reached the border of the torso. Take a quick breather. I haven't seen the first episode, Robert, just the prologue. And my reaction to the ending of that was, wow, that was dark but really good. A high-grade Garbera Tetra model. Oh, a high-grade Cubely and a high-grade Ifrit. I don't know the Garbera off the top of my head, but I know those other ones. Yeah, get sewer watered. Time for some more. The bubble issue could be because I shook up the bottle too much. Yeah, I mean the texture on these Spire models is just, lends itself really well to the good old wash dry brush technique. I will catch up on the chat as soon as I finish painting this bony torso here. I don't want any of the wash to dry in patches, you know? I am just in the zone with this washing stage right now, let me tell you. Yeah, older models like that are good for hand painting. The anime is nothing like the prologue. Interesting. The good old entry grade RX 7802. Hello, Shrekus McChekus. Welcome back. Yeah, I know there was a big time jump. Yeah, I mean, Tamiya super glue, it depends. Super glue is good to like bond things quickly. Or like, you know, sometimes if you need a good, sometimes you need the super glue to like add material in there to create a like enough of a bond, you know, to like a big flat surface like the base. If you're gluing a foot on there, sometimes like the texture designs in the foot, you need the super glue's like gap filling properties to get proper anchor in there. But super glue, you know, but both the glues have their pros and cons. And you know, sometimes you need to glue a thing like a polycap, which the plastic cement won't work on that well. Yeah, it suffers a little bit from early real grade syndrome, I'd say. Definitely. It was a bit of a flimsy boy, which, you know, made it a good candidate for model mayhem style. Yeah, and even there's like a lot of moving parts on like the legs and feet that needed to be locked down. It was kind of a pain. So yeah, I can confirm early real grade. Yes, I am also tempted to get the Conquest dinosaur riding orcs. Or I was tempted at one point. I have resisted so far, but well, what's stopping me now? Well, I mean, there's a lot of things stopping me now, mostly like that I've got too many projects going on, but at least right now when it comes to Conquest stuff, I can be like, well, they haven't revealed the like, or they haven't like fully revealed the new faction that's coming out next year, so what's stopping me from like getting another Conquest army is, I guess, waiting for that. See what that's gonna be like. Because they've only shown off like 1 or 2 models from it, basically. Alright, this one is almost done being sewer watered. Hope you're all enjoying the washing process as much as I am. I do need to add a bit more. Getting it for your tall geese? Like to go alongside your tall geese, or are you gonna just use the wings on it? Because that's why I originally got my real grade Wing Zero, was to use the wings for my Red Bull God Gundam. I feel like that's why a lot of people bought the real grade Wing Zeros, just for the wings. Okay, this one has been swamp watered. Alright, see ya, Robert. Have a good one. Alright, got the base there. Yeah, when you're doing the lacquer paint airbrush, that's definitely a good reason to put in the effort to remove those seam lines. My favorite mecha? Yeah, the original Gunbuster's a classic. My favorite mecha, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's what I thought you were using it for, Shrekus. Oh, you still need to get the airbrush coins. Right, I think I remember you telling me about that in a previous stream. Yeah, back to Toe Sucker's question. My favorite mecha? I don't know if I could pick, like, a favorite, but, Barbatos is up there. Ava Unit 1 is up there. The Goosh, the Gooshin, of course. Trying to think of. I don't know. I do like me a good old classic Tau battle suit, like a crisis suit. I mean, the broadsight's pretty cool too. What else is there? I like me some good diesel punk mecha, like. What's the one I'm thinking of? Like, it's not a specific mecha, but like the designs for the. It's like the artist, this artist, I can't remember his name, I think he's Polish. He did designs for the board game Scythe, and then in the same universe there's like a video game called Iron Harvest. There's some like pretty cool dieselpunk mech designs. Or there's this book series, the first one's called Leviathan. I believe it's by Scott Westerfield. They have some pretty cool like dieselpunk mech designs in that. I guess I wouldn't say War Machine designs because those are like robots and aren't really mecha, though they could say they're like similar. The Goof, or like just the Zaku / Goof body design is pretty epic. I'm sure there's some others I'm not thinking of right now. Or the, there's this, they're called tags in Infinity, the game. There's one for the Yuching faction called I think it's called the Guija Squadron. I painted one a while ago. That has like a really good design. I think part of that is also it's just like a really well sculpted mini. Yeah, I don't know if I could ever pick like a favorite. It's hard. Now I'm just like, my brain is worrying about what my favorite like Warjack design from War Machine and Hordes would be. So we have some Scythe, or Caleb. Yeah, I think we've talked about Scythe before. Yeah, I don't know, like, Diesel Punk isn't... I like and appreciate Diesel Punk as a genre a lot. You know, if I had to decide on, like, my favorite, mecha of all time, I don't think it would be a Diesel Punk one. Goof the best. Yeah, Diesel Punk is it's a pretty good aesthetic. And Diesel Punk isn't... Diesel Punk and Steampunk have a lot of overlap. Now, the Steampunk can, like, vary wildly as well. Like, War Machine, Steampunk. Some people, like, if they didn't know what it was, might see that as more of a Diesel Punk. Like, the main War Machine factions I have, like, have good mech designs, but I think, like, the Crix Slayer Jack is, like, one of the best ones. And that's not even for a faction I play. Oh, got a bit too much wash pooling there. Favorite mecha of all time? The Attack Titan from Attack on Titan. Just kidding. How heated is the argument gonna get if I declare that Attack on Titan is a mecha anime? Also, I probably should have painted, I don't know, like, yeah, these ropes, I should have, like, painted them with more of a base coat before washing them, so that's something I'll have to, that's something I'll just have to deal with later. I don't even know what color I'm gonna paint that. That's a decision for future, Liam. You know, like, Optimus Prime is kind of like a mecha design, even though he's not a mecha. Yeah, Scythe is definitely in one of my top board games of all time. I haven't really decided what my top 3 would, or top 5 would be, but Scythe would definitely be in my top 5, no question. It would probably be in my top 3 as well, who am I kidding? I liked Scythe enough to paint all the minis in it. And those minis were, like, not well designed for painting, I'd say, or like the details on them were just not, you know, they're not as crisp as like actual minis designed to be painted. We're all flesh mechs. Or I might have been Damat from the Brush Coven Discord. Refers to his body as a meat spaceship. Can't remember where I first originally heard that. I feel like that's where. Steampunk is steamy and dieselpunk is smoky. But I mean, steampunk can also be smoky, you know, with sometimes you need coal. Ah, the aquatic Xeon mechs. Ah yes, the Gogg and the Zoc are also very good. Can't forget those. Meat mechs are real mechs. Meat mechs matter. Make that trend. The Dictus from Crossbone Gundam. I've probably seen that one before, but I don't know Crossbone Gundam that well. But that name is entertaining. Oh, that's nice your friend was able to paint your Scythe Mini. Problem, the Scythe Mini is like the hard plastic they're made of, and like the mold lines and stuff are just a real pain to deal with. But you know, they were like board game minis, so I painted them to a pretty casual tabletop standard, so it's all good. Better than having them not painted. Even if the paint job is very mediocre. And that's the thing with painting board game minis, is like, it's a board game, so most people, like the default people expect is for them to not be painted, so if they are painted, that's impressive in itself. But they're not like the minis from a board game from like Cool Mini or not, you know, like Rising Sun. Those are like, you know, those are minis where the company actually hires an artist to paint them for the box art. Alright, we're almost done the sewer water on this one. It looks like we'll just need a little bit more out of the bottle. Oh, it transforms into a hand. Okay, that sounds familiar. That's a fun gimmick. If anyone has any last burning questions, messages, super chats, anything to get in before the stream's done, now's the time. Alright, everything's all sewered up now. There's a bit, I wasted just a bit of sewer water. I don't know if I'll be able to get that back into the bottle. Why is fire hot? Physics? I don't know. Yeah, Crossbone Gundam's one of those, like, out of all the Gundam things, it's like, most people know what the Crossbone Gundam looks like, but, like, I don't really know much about Crossbone itself, other than that it's a manga. Villain mobile suits are pretty goated, that's true. The stream is wrapping up, Shrekus McCheck is correct. I'm gonna try and get some of this sewer water back into the bottle. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Broderick. $20. Oh, that last burp was just for you. Dang. I brought up the word super chat right at the end of the stream and someone super chatted. Look at that. Thanks for the super chat, though. I appreciate it. Buy my DC with this. What, can you explain what DC is? Sorry, I'm being thick-skulled about it. I don't know what you mean. Okay, I took the nozzle off this. I'm gonna see if I can just pour this back in. Okay, there's barely any left. Let's see, maybe I can just... Oh, DC, do you mean... Is that a Conquest? Oh, Diet Coke. Oh, okay, I see what you mean. I'm drinking Coke Zero, actually, but thanks. Diet Coke and Coke Zero, you know, close enough. Most underrated villain MS? Good question. Most of the villain mobile suits that come to mind are ones that I would say are not underrated, because like everyone is like, yeah, those are awesome. You know, like the Saikuzaku or the Goof. I don't think anyone would say the Goof is overrated or underrated. I feel like most people are aware of the Goof being like badass. Oh, yeah, double like Turn X Gundam is pretty cool. Well, let's just have a quick comparison shot of the sewer watered ones next to the finished one. See, still like a decent amount of difference between the two, but not, I mean, the most time consuming step, well, we gotta do just a little bit of highlighting on the green flesh, slightly more highlighting on the red cloth, and then we gotta paint these with that shifter paint. This is gonna use up a lot of shifter paint on this one in particular. I think I gotta do just a little bit more dry brushing on the carapace, so probably just like one more stream's worth. We'll have to see how next week goes, whether I'll be like finishing these off stream and doing something else for next weekend's stream or not. Generally, I try and do a stream every like Friday or Saturday. But I'll know that those plans will be more concrete next week. Next week's gonna be one of those script writing weeks. It's always hard to predict how long that's gonna take, and then sometimes the script is like shorter or longer than I originally anticipated, so that means the video making process will be shorter or longer than anticipated. Alright, see ya, Caleb. Thanks for coming by. Oh, you meant Turn X. Okay. Sumos, they chunk. I'll have to check that out. The mobile dolls from Wing, yeah. They were like, yeah, I don't know, they were kind of... Wing Gundam has a few of those like gray area characters. Alright, well, thanks for coming to the stream, everybody. I appreciate it. It was nice getting back to it now that I'm over that cold. And yeah, like I said, next stream should be next weekend, Friday or Saturday. Follow my social medias to stay updated on that. And hope to see you all again soon. Bye-bye. Where's the mouse? The mouse isn't showing up. Gotta use the trackpad.